Hi,
Hello.
ma'am.
Hi,
Hi,
Akash.
ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
Finally, I'm good. How are
Yeah.
you?
First, let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Akash and I have a YouTube channel called Trying to Know Cinema. I live
Mm-hmm.
in Jalandhar, Punjab, but we are
Mm-hmm.
basically from Nepal. Never been to Nepal. And
Acha.
yeah, someday, maybe, I don't know. Never been to Nepal.
I recently shot a film in Nepali
Oh,
language in Sikkim.
yeah. Okay, since it can. Great, great. Like, you
Yeah.
can speak Nepali then?
Now I can understand a bit of Nepali.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Your Nepali must be better than mine. Okay,
All right.
okay. And I work as a web developer in
Mm-hmm.
Jalandhar, Punjab only, but I want to become a filmmaker. I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do podcasts. And
Lovely.
maybe the plan is to go to film school. I don't know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not able to clear FTI. I don't know for some reason.
FTA is not the only
Yeah,
option,
that's also.
How old are
I'm
you?
23. Yeah.
23. Okay.
How old are
You
you?
have a lot of time to decide.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay,
36.
okay. So yeah, let's start. Now.
Yep. Can you hear me
Yeah,
fine?
yeah. It's
Okay, good.
first of all, congratulations. All
Thank
India
you.
rank will be released tomorrow.
Yes,
So ma'am,
yes.
how excited and how nervous are you? Ma'am?
I am not nervous. I am very, very excited though. It's been a very long journey for all of us. We started shooting in 2022 February, and eventually through festival rounds and finally we have arrived here. So I don't feel very nervous at the moment. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to know how common audience perceives it, whether they enjoy it, and how is the chart. What's the chart saying?
Uh, it got
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
it got premiered last year at Rotterdam, if I'm correct.
Yes, yes. So basically, it's one of the. I think it's one of. It's the only Indian film that was the closing film at Rotterdam in the history of how many ever years of Rotterdam. So हाँ काफी प्राइड वाली बात है और post Rotterdam also it had its screenings over IFLA and Sydney Festival and then Mami, then Dharamshala. And apparently, because it's also releasing on Netflix, it has some limit of 5 festivals that we can send to. So we have to carefully choose where we are sending.
So my question would be like, what inspired you to become a cinematographer? Ma'am? How you decide?
Uh, it's a long story. Well, I studied to be a computer engineer. I guess you are also a computer engineer?
I am BC. I've done BC. I got lucky. Like getting a job after
Right,
BC is very rare.
right, right. Yeah, so I was a part of this film society where I grew up. It's a small town near Bombay called Dombivli, and I was a part of this film society. I used to attend Sunday screenings very regularly, and that is where the seed, I guess, was dropped in my mind that I wanted to do something. I didn't know what that something is. Do something in films. That at that time it felt very far-fetched, to be honest, because nobody in my family is from even arts. Forget about films. So, everybody is from science. Most of them are from medical profession, and for me, for my parents, it felt like a far-fetched dream. But well, I guess I didn't give up, and I kept searching for the right way to um, I don't know, to find the right path to express what I wanted to express. So initially, it was still photography. Um, Back in the day, there was just one website by a cinematographer that was online, and that was Santosh Sivan's.
Uh, okay.
That was the only website
Okay.
where you could actually peep into a cinematographer's mind. I didn't know what cinematography was back then. So that is how it started gradually, and then I read on Santosh Sivan's website that he had said every day at least you make sure that you click at least 5 pictures
Okay.
to refine your skills and just to explore what you want to show or what you want to capture. So I just kept doing that, kept doing my local film society screenings, and eventually I thought that okay, I probably wanted to do something with visuals. And then I started searching for what was the right way to get into cinematography. And because I don't come from arts background, I wanted a very formal education. you know I wanted to go meticulously, step by step. So my preference was film school that way. I didn't want to jump into assisting someone and just get into the job. I wanted to understand first what my taste was in aesthetics, my taste was in visuals, or what kind of films I wanted to be a part of. For that, I needed time. I also needed guidance. And then I came across many good film schools. Like there is this Polish film school in
Okay.
Lodz, which I really badly wanted to go to. But my parents were uh, really, really against, me switching careers, so to say. And Polish film school needed some kind of, I mean, a good amount of financial support from our parents. FTII being a government school, there were scholarships, and as a bigger student loan, I could uh, finish the education in FTI on my own versus the film school in Roach. So I guess the choice was clear because of these kind of reasons, and I gave exam. I got cleared in the first attempt, and so I went into FTI, and yeah, that is how it all started. Lesser known films of Kieslowski's were available in print. But then basically I had seen his early documentary films in the Film Society, and those were so soulful. I mean, he was a student then. This is way before Colors Trilogy. Colors Trilogy was in 90s, like very close to his end. And the documentaries that I saw, some of them were sponsored by Polish government. So very basic camera setup, very basic everything. But the way he would explore his city, Lodz, there is a documentary on Lodz. So he was studying in Polish film school, the same one that I wanted to go to. Probably that's why I wanted to go to Lodz. But no, there is no direct connection as such. I would like to think that way. But there is this diploma film, like the final year film that he did in Lodz, which is about exploring the city life in Lodz. And it's so beautiful. It's very soulful. And I think the simplicity without the means of technology is what got attracted me to Kieslowski's work. And of course, later on, Double Life of Veronique and Three Colors and his other films uh, were uh, were a masterclass in filmmaking for sure. But I think the simplest of his films was what attracted me.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am, then before going to FTI, did you like did some job in corporate world?
No, I was pretty much sure by the time I gave my final exam of engineering, and I didn't sit for placements. That also irked my parents quite a bit. Like, what kind of confidence is this? I mean, it wasn't confidence, so to say. I mean, yeah, it was confidence, but it was also um, the curiosity that I had that, what would happen if I go this way? What happens if I don't go the same, placement and then engineering jobs and then corporate job, then probably MBA and then better jobs, etc., etc. What happens if I don't go this way? What happens if I, let's say, give a couple of years of my life to figure out whether this has anything to give to me or whether I have anything to give to films. So I wanted to explore that. I guess I was curious more than confident. So I didn't go for any jobs.
Okay. Ma'am, then you went to FTI. Like, what was your experience there? Like, it
Oh,
was a
FTI.
cinematography course,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was a 3 year cinematography course, and it was a playground for me. So this was the first time I had access to an art school, so to say. Like throughout my life, I have been a science student and an engineering student, and this was the first time that suddenly so many streams of art um, were open in front of me: painting, music, and of course the streams that are actually formally available in FTI, like acting, production design, directing, editing. And so we have a common course as the first year curriculum, where we do everything, little bit of everything. So we do direction, we do editing, we do sound design, production design on each other's films. And we were fortunate enough to shoot film throughout 3 years. So we started with 16 black and white, and that was another mysterious door opening for me because, um, well, in any kind of film, when you shoot film, um, you have to gauge what your final product is going to be based on your practice, experience, knowledge, because you are not going to see the exact final output through viewfinder. You know, that always kept me on my toes, and I could hear my heartbeats every time the went on on my right ear. So that was magical. The vibe was very magical in the first year as well, because we started with 16 black and white, and the first year course was basically, as I said, common course, and then eventually we went into specialization. We started with black and white film, then we went on to shoot color film. So what FTI gave me was a lot of resources, you know, to find what my tastes were, which I wanted to do, to find what my aesthetics was, to find to hone my skills. We were given a lot of film stock for doing practicals, you know, and that would be developed in frequent intervals, and we would be seeing our results on big screen with our batchmates. I think I learned a lot from my batchmates also, because practicals would be done with each other, so I would be lighting for someone, with someone would be lighting up for me, with me. I would be doing dolly for someone, I would be focus pulling for someone in second year onwards. And with their experimentation of film, I also learned a lot of things. With my experimentation, they learned a lot of things. So I think it's the batchmates, the resources, and of course the amazing workshops that we had with ex-FTIans. I remember vividly, we had this workshop with Shankar Raman, and it was quite an eye opener. And I had a lot of fun. Santosh Sivan had come once, Anil Mehta sir had come. So I think, yeah, resources and learning from each other is what FTI gave me, and also it gave me time and space to just read, watch films, and figure out what I want to do. Figure out what kind of films I want to get attached to. Figure out what kind of films I want to shoot. So that was a very important step, I guess, in my career as a cinematographer. I'm really happy that I went to FTI.
Okay, ma'am, when you said like when you said to your parents like I want to go to a film school, were they like okay? Like,
No, not at all. They were not okay at all. And that was also a reason why I went to FTI rather than any other film school. Because with FTI, I got some scholarship for first 2 years, and the fees were, because it's a government school, the fees are really low. I mean, were really low, and I could afford it without a lot of their help. That was the reason I went to FTI, and yeah, they were not happy or okay about it initially.
okay. Now they have seen All India rank.
Yeah, yeah, they were present at the premiere that we had at Mami, and they were really happy and felt really proud. Yeah, so life comes a full circle with All India rank.
Yes, ma'am. Then you did your course, and then ma'am, how did you find your first job? How much time it took after doing your course?
Mm, so Masan was my first job as an assistant to Avinash Harun. And I did it while I was in FTI. So I was in my second year, and one of my other seniors, called Kumar Saurabh, who was the first assistant of Avinash. He was my 3 year senior, and he was still in FTI. And he approached me asking, ki, there is this film coming up, and Avinash is shooting it. Would you like to do the second AC post? And I jumped at it, of course. I loved Avinash's work. So that was my first film, and I was towards the end of my second year in FTI. And Masan was an ideal. I mean, I was lucky to have Masan as my first job at second AC, and yeah, it opened many doors. Of course, I met Varun for the first time on Masan sets. Varun had written Masan, and he was on sets, and he used to help Neeraj on set. And yeah, that was my first job, and then I went on assisting Avinash on a couple of other films, many ad films, etc. Then uh, in my third year, I shot my first feature film actually, which never got released while I was in FTI. So that was that, and then I guess in 2015 I started assisting Shankar Raman. I started doing second unit for him. Then I started basically eventually I just got into doing second unit and second camera. Then I came on board with Sylvester Fonseca. So I consider all these fellows my mentors, Avinash, Shankar Raman, Sylvester Fonseca. Then I started doing second camera for Jai Krishna Gumadi. He's also an FTIN. Um, his most notable work would be Haseen Dilruba. So I did second cam and second unit job with him on almost 4 films. And then Swapnil Sonawne on Badhai Do. And then yeah, so basically this kept on going as as a second camera operator and second unit DP till I mean in between I was doing short films, I was doing music videos, I was doing ad films here and there. I also shot a very short web series for a friend. And then one thing led to another. I started doing better short films, and then I I got back in touch with Varun, and that is when he was searching for his. I mean, he was in the process of making his team for All India rank. So yeah.
So they, how many people are there in camera department? There's cinematographer. We know like how many people are under cinematographer.
Well, there is cinematographer, of course. Then there is a focus puller who pulls focus for you. Then there is chief AC, chief assistant camera, who basically oversees all the managerial work as well as execution on set. So managerial means whatever goes on in pre-production, getting on top of, forming the rest of the team, getting in touch with art, um, just being present with the DP, helping the DP sort out the managerial work, in the pre-production stage. And then once the plan is set on location or on set, Chief AC is also the person who is the main person when it comes to execution of lighting setups or getting forward setups ready, etc., etc. So that's Chief AC. Then there is second AC who helps Chief AC. Sometimes there are two second ACs. If there is a lot of work, there is a lot of work on forward setups. Then there are two second ACs, and there is third AC because it's a lot of work. And then there is camera intern. So sometimes camera intern or sometimes third AC handles your camera continuity report. And there is gaffer who is in charge of execution of your lighting plans and also a close collaborator with DP about how to create certain kind of mood with lights, with available lights, as in whatever is available in the budget. So it's a very closely collaborated job with the DP. Gaffer is a very important collaborator in DP's team, along with Chief AC, of course. Then there is Grip's team, who handles your tracks, trolley, basically movement of camera. Sometimes there is special requirement that you have in camera department, like Steadicam or jib, or crane or drone or underwater. So then those heads come in with their own teams of three, four people each. And what else? Then we have, so in light department, up to help Gaffer, there is the best boy, who is the second best person. There's electrician, who handles all the connections, and Jenny person, who takes care of the Jenny, and lightmen. Then number of lightmen depends from 5 to 15 to 20, depending on the expanse of the work that you're doing. Yeah, so I guess close to what, around 35, 40 people.
Okay. Camera department is the biggest team in films.
Um, you can see that actually, considering the number of lightmen, number of grips people. If you consider everyone together, yes, I guess yes.
And ma'am, if somebody wants to work under you, assist you, how they can approach you?
Uh, I mostly work with people whom I have known from earlier, but again, so recently I have worked with a couple of girls who had come to me through email, actually. They were recent pass outs of Whistling Wood, and they had approached me via email, and they were assisting me on a smaller scale project. So basically, what I do is I test my grounds, I test their grounds based on them assisting me on a smaller project. If we work along well, then I continue with them on longer format, because it's both. It has to work both ways. They should have fun working with me. They should think that they have something to learn from me, and similarly, I should think that they are a great asset to my team. So basically, I test these grounds based on smaller projects, and then I continue with them on bigger projects.
Okay. Ma'am, what is the job of a cinematographer?
Job of a cinematographer in a very basic term is to protect the visuals. Creating the visuals, yes, that happens. I think most of that work happens in pre-production. On set, there is a very little space to really come up with a visual. All that tayari needs to be done in pre. Riyaz is the place where you come up with visuals, because you have to plan for those visuals. So all that happens in pre. I'm talking about fiction, long format fiction, not documentary. So on documentary, you come up with things as you see, events unfolding in front of you, right then and there, spontaneously. But with fiction, when you are involved closely with art department, basically when there are so many people who need to be on the same page to create something, you need to be prepared in prep. So I consider creating the visuals to be a part of prep period, and um, execution happens during shoot. On the day of the shoot, just the execution of that happens. Of course, improvs happen all the time. That happens with actors, that happens with director, art, and cinematographer. Improvs happen all the time, but majority of that work happens in prep. And in post, you have to make sure that what you had imagined with the director comes out as you had imagined it, or maybe even better, who knows. But so basically, you are protecting the realm of visuals. You are the protector of the realm, from creating to making sure that it's out the way you have imagined, you have designed. You have to protect it, and you have to send it out. I think that's the job of cinematography.
Ma'am, camera movement and camera lenses is chosen by director or cinematographer?
It's a very collaborative call. So I can talk for myself on all the projects that I've done. It's mostly been collaborative. We both take the call of, whether it should be static or whether it should be handheld, and what sort of focal length we should go for. So it's always been collaborative.
Ma'am, let's talk about All India rank. Ma'am, how did you get on board? Like, Varun,
So,
Varun call you like,
yeah, so basically, Varun had, as I said, Varun had met me. I had met Varun on the sets of Masan, and we had known each other. As in, after that, we hadn't kept in touch for all these years. And then Varun happened to see a short film that I had shot for Nihit Bhavi. It was called Fir Kabhi. So he had seen that, and he really wanted to see some of my other work. So he got in touch. Sorry. He got in touch and he asked me for my website. Then he went through other work, and then we had a couple of rounds of, you can call those interview rounds. So we had that, and we basically discussed about who our favorite filmmakers were, and he had discussed a basic storyline of what he was writing. Um, and then he had a basic discussion about how we can achieve certain things, and it was a very open discussion about how AIR can be shot. And post couple of such rounds, I was on board.
ma'am, how long it took like to shoot the film?
To shoot the film, so we started prepping in October 2021, and then we prepped for quite a bit. We had two rounds of scout in Rajasthan, and then there was tech recce, and then there was another tech recce because there was pandemic, fourth wave of pandemic happening in Jan 2022, and we started shooting on in Feb 2022, late Feb 2022, and we were shooting on first day, and first day Varun got COVID, and we had done this huge pre-light setup and art setup for a setup in All India rank, and we were shocked, we were stunned, we had to take it all down. He had to be in isolation. He had to get better. Meanwhile, we went back. It was a very stressful period, and then we came back after he got better. So eventually we started shooting in March, late March 2022, and went on till May first week. And I think there was a smallish second schedule in October 2022. So yeah, close to 35 days of shoot.
And ma'am, how he is as a person and as a filmmaker?
Varun is like, किसे पसंद नहीं है यार वरुण ग्रोवर. He's an extremely loving and giving person, even on set. Offset to hai he, but even on set, in those stressful situations, I guess he's the best collaborator I've worked with so far. He's this giver, he's always, also he thinks on his toes, like if there is less time, we are running out of time, and we have this huge scene to shoot. He came up with this idea wherein we could, wrap the whole thing within half an hour. So he's always on his toes. He knows his edit well. So that way he can decide what to chuck in terms of shooting. As in, we never shot coverage. We were very thorough with our shot breakdowns, and we stuck to that. And barring one two incidents, there was no panic on set ever. You know, it was a very it was a dream setting to work in with Varun. And yeah, he's a very loving and giving person, and I wish him the best.
Ma'am, who are your favorite cinematographers?
Whoa, in India, there are so many, yeah. There's so many cinematographers who are always, I feel inspired by their work, and it's great to be working alongside those, in this time. So, of course, there is Sylvester, there is Shankar Raman, जिनके early films I really uh, used to dig. There was this black and white film which I'm forgetting the name of, which he shot in 2007 in Ladakh. I'm forgetting the name, but yeah, well, Shankar sir for sure. Tasadduk Hussain, Kavin Jaktiani. He had shot this film by Shonali Bose called Ratrani. It was a part of that anthology. Again, I'm very bad with names. So beautifully, with Fatima Sana Sheikh as the lead, shot so well. So Kavin Jaktiani, then of course there's Siddharth Diwan. Um, there's so many people here. I would definitely miss one name or the other, and later on I would think, oh shit, इनका नाम लेना कैसे भूल गई? And then there are these fantastic women cinematographers, Priya Seth, whose work I really, really love, especially on short formats like ad films. And I loved her work on Pipa, the film. And yeah, uh, list can go on and on. So many people, so many people.
Okay. Ma'am, your favorite films? Like if you can recommend few films.
Oh my God, no. I maybe can come up with something which I can send you. From top of my head, okay, there is one thing that I really love in Mami called Anatomy of Fall. I think it's running in theaters right now as part of some sort of short run. So you should watch Anatomy of Fall. There was this film that I watched on movie called Close. It was really beautiful. It was also coming of age film, and very complex emotional world of a 12-year-old who goes through sudden tragic incident in his life. Beautiful. So I guess from top of my head, these two, I can come up with a list if you give me some time and if I have access to Google.
Ma'am, if somebody wants to become a cinematographer, like what advice would you give?
I am not the right person to give anyone any advice, but I don't know. Yeah. I guess it really depends. Depends on the background they come from. As in, if they are from arts background, I guess I would just ask them to, probably join someone on the job and start assisting early on so that they know what sort of a future they want to embrace. As in terms of what kind of films they want to shoot or whether they want to continue being a cinematographer. I mean, I have known so many people who start assisting at cinematographers and then they realize that probably they want to be directors. You know, so it really depends. If you're from arts background, I would advise that you can start assisting people and then figure out what you really want to do. And if you're not from arts background, like I was, I think film school is a great way to really explore what you want to do rather than simply jumping to assisting.
Ma'am, are you currently doing any projects of entrepreneur?
Yeah, there is one project that I'm currently in prep of. I just wrapped a very 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 interesting long format film in Sikkim. I just came back yesterday, right before the premiere happened, and now I'm in prep for a web series.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
Thank you so much, Akash.
And I'm so excited for all the India rank.
Me too. Please go watch. Please spread the
Absolutely,
word
absolutely.
and let me know how you find it.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, I'll tell you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.